Hello, my friends. At last I am here to show you how I do my tiger's eye. So I already kind of sketched out an eye, and if you want to, you can pause the video and do a screenshot at the beginning so you can follow if you want to do an exact eye. But really, I just kind of sketch an eye in, and then I put in with pencil where I want the black stripes. So now you'll be able to see it as I'm lining everything out. And I'm taking black and I thin it out with a little bit of water, and I'm just lining out my eye. And I'm using a brush that I have cut down, taken probably a good 70-80% of the bristles out, so it's really fine. And I'll switch back and forth between my round brush when I have the larger areas and then my fine brush when I'm lining. And I'm doing this on a shadow stone that has 2 coats of chalk paint on it. I get my shadow stones from Santorini Stones by Shelly. Shout out to her. And I'm just kind of starting with my first layer here. So I just line out with some black lines where those stripes are going to be. This is just my first layer, so I'll be going over it more as I keep going. But this just kind of gives me an idea where everything's going to be. I like doing it this way because it kind of just gives me a guide of what to follow. And it's not going to look quite like this when I'm done. There's some things I'm going to change, but right now I'm on the orange. I'm using Spiced Pumpkin, and that's by Decoart Americana. And Burnt Sienna is the next color, and I'm only using that on the corners of the eyes, and then I'm gonna slowly blend in to the inside of the eye. And let me tell you, I like having the paint strokes in for this eye. Normally I don't like the paint strokes so much, but I'm liking the streaking because I like the way that it makes the eye look. Now I'm using a blending brush, and I'm just kind of blending that darker into the lighter. And you'll see I'm going to go back and forth with the Spiced Pumpkin and the Burnt Sienna until I get a color that I'm happy with, a blend that I'm happy with, and there's just that darker shadow on each side of the eyeball. Now I'm using Decoart Americana in white, and I lightened the pumpkin spice a little bit and went over that with the blending brush. Now I'm using a little bit of orange from the Posca pen. It's a little bit brighter orange, and I'm going to use that as like highlighting. So I'm highlighting around the iris, and then I'm going to highlight just in little parts of the eyeball. Eyeballs have so much different streaks of color and texture and stuff in them that you pretty much can just play around and do different things, and it's going to come out cool. So that yellow is cadmium yellow, also by Decoart Americana. And I put a main line in, and now I'm putting some finer lines in. And I just do it on the outside and the inside of the eyeball of that little yellow ring. And I just kind of keep playing with it until I get a look that I like, that I'm happy with. You just can relax and chill and paint you an eyeball. And I put a little bit of white in there too. But you'll see I'm going back and forth between those 5 colors. So now I'm going to use Fire Opal, which is a metallic color, and it's orange, and a kind of like a burnt orange metallic, and I'm going to put some of that in. And then the yellow one that I did is colorshift yellow, and it shifts to gold, so it gives a real cool little flash when you turn the rock around back and forth. It gives it a cool little sparkle. And I don't like go in and put a solid cover with this metallic. I'm using my fine brush and just brushing it in here and there, so it's not a solid color. It just looks, I don't know, it gives it a cool effect. And now I'm going back and putting a little bit more burnt sienna on the corners to bring out that little bit of a shadow. Now I'm fixing the iris. Now there's a little bit of a shadow that I'm putting in at the top of the eyeball, and I super watered down some of that black to where it's super watery, and I'm just gonna go in and layer that. I think I ended up putting 3 layers of the really thin. And then here I'm feathering out that little part to the eye. I still, like, I kind of struggle through this until a certain point where I finally get it where I want it. So now I mixed some black with white and made a gray, and I'm putting my base to where my white is going to be. So everywhere there's going to be white, I'm going to put gray down first. And that's going to be my first layer for all the white part. And I'm just sticking with my fine cut down brush to do all those lines. I do have this sped up 4 times, so it's going pretty fast. So it will take you a little while to do this. It's not going to be really quick. You know, it does take a little while, but it's worth it in the end. It turns out looking really cool, and it's worth all the work, I promise. Now, I am using a longer brush for this, for longer hairs. I use, like when I did my panda, I used a smaller in length brush and then less hair, so it took a lot more strokes and a lot more hair on the panda. But on this tiger eye, I'm using a little bit longer strokes and thicker hairs, so it doesn't take quite as long. Now I've watered down some burnt sienna, and I'm applying it with my round water brush, and just kind of putting it in like as if it was watercolor all on the left side. And then I'm taking regular burnt sienna in full strength and just making little dots with it, just to kind of give it some texture like a tiger would be. And now I'm just kind of smoothing in some more color to darken that bottom part after the full strength burnt sienna dries. And then I put another coat in the shadow. And you want to be able to see through that shadow, but not very much. Now I'm putting in the eye shine with some white posca. I like using my white posca ink for stuff like this. It's really thin but opaque, and I can get my eye shines in really well. And I'm going over the eye, the little lines. Yeah, you see my little oops there. So I'm just cleaning all of that eyeball up. And now I'm going to be doing burnt sienna in the colored part, where the colored part stripes are going to be. And I'm going to be mixing and going back and forth between burnt sienna and the orange from my pen. And so that's going to give it some difference in color. Kind of all at one time rather than doing one solid color and then another color. You can, with the browns and the oranges, you can work together and just do back and forth between burnt sienna and bright orange to get your stripe. Now I'm adding cadmium yellow. Oh, I guess I had a little blip in that last clip. So now I am going over with the white. With, let's see, I'm pretty sure it was the Americana Decoart that I used. And I'm going to go over all the gray parts. Now I'm bringing out the cadmium yellow. So the part that you missed was I added a little bit of cadmium yellow up in the little V, kind of at the top right. You can see that little bit of yellow. And now I'm doing the same thing underneath the V, but I'm mixing more of the cadmium yellow, and I'm also watering it down so it's not real bright. And when I need to add a little bit more of an orangey color, I go up to the little mixture I made with the burnt sienna and the cadmium yellow. So I'll just keep going back and forth doing that. Sorry, I lost that little bit of a clip. I think what happened was either my battery died, or oh, I know what it was. I had too many things recorded and it quit recording on me, so I had to go delete some things. I just use my phone, guys, so. Now I'm fixing this little point to the eye that was bugging me. Getting it to where I want it, and then I'm cleaning up that underneath part, because when you go and put those white lines in, you will get the black part, so you've got to go clean it up a little bit. Now I'm going over the black stripes again. This is the next layer to that. Now I'm doing the white over the gray at the top. And you can slowly see it coming together now. It's really starting to pop that eye. So the thing that I'm trying to do is I just want a little bit of that gray to show through, just here and there, just to give it depth. Because if you just put white on white, it's not going to show up. So you need that base color underneath so that your hair will show up. So that's why I used the gray first. And that's basically what I do when I layer. I put the dark color first, and then I do a mid color and then a light color. And sometimes I just slowly build it up and have several layers. Now I'm touching up the line on the eye, getting anything that I had gotten white on. I love doing these tiger's eyes. I hope that y'all give it a try. It's super fun. I'm adding some more lightened cadmium yellow. I lightened it with white, then watered it down a little bit. Just doing some little touch-ups. And then I'm going to use a little bit of Posca ink. When I'm wanting a fine ink, I either use my Posca ink in black, or I'll use my Createx. But I'm fixing up the little eye because I put a little tear duct line in there, and I'm just fixing it up right now. And then I put a little bit of highlighting in there. Now I'm touching up that bottom part. So basically I'm going back and forth, if you see where I'm jumping around, and I'm letting one section dry while I'm working on another section. And that's pretty much, now I'm lightening up a little bit more on the eye shine. So that's pretty much what you do if you want to keep working on it, is you work on something, let it dry while you're working on something else. And now I'm holding it up and out so I can kind of see where I need to put a little bit more paint or touch anything else up. Now I'm going to darken all those top lines and make some little feathery lines and bring it up and out a little bit. Well, I just want to thank y'all so much for watching and following along my tiger eye journey. I do hope y'all give it a try. You can slow this video down if you want to, and try to, or follow along with it and just pause it when you need to pause. But I do hope that you give it a try. I don't know why it changed colors there for a second. I don't know what I'm doing to cause that, but hey, it's me filming, so you never know what to expect. And something always happens, like my phone dying or cutting off because I have too much memory taken up from other videos. So I'm just finishing up this side and the top. Don't forget to sign the back if you're going to be dropping this rock and signing it with your name. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching. Y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.